What's good, guys? Hope you guys are good. Uh, Today, I just want to share something, right? I just want to share something very valuable, right, when it comes to trading, right? So, um, I want to talk about the most important trading day of the week, right? On the strategy that I'm using, right? So this day is the most important one because that's where the market is gonna like have more volatility. That's like that's the standard, right, on my strategy. Usually on these days I'm gonna get more volatility or the following day, right? Yeah, man, I'm talking about Wednesday, guys. So Wednesday is a very important day for me. I know that on Wednesday I have to be on my toes. I have to make sure that I trade my system accordingly and I don't just jump the gun, but I analyze thoroughly before I can execute my setups, right? So I'll just go um make an example of about something that has already played out, right? So yeah, I'll also explain the whole concept of why I took this trade and what was my thought process and how I was able to capitalize from it, right? So yeah, man, let's see. So on this, the previous week, right? Because today this is a new week, it's still forming, but we are talking about this week, right? So on this week, what happened was I was just it was we had Monday, then Tuesday, then on Wednesday I was just looking at the markets. Then I wanted a confluence, right? I wanted a confluence because I knew that there was a potential that this Wednesday is gonna buy, right? But then I didn't have a specific target as to where it can reach, right? But then what I did was I said, okay, let me analyze this chart and see it what is the market communicating to me, right? So yeah, let's see what was my thought process, right? So we are talking about this week on Wednesday, but we're gonna start on this week, right? Reason being it's because on Wednesday I previously shared a video of a strategy that shows you when this week was buying. On this week on Wednesday, look for a specific formation for you to also buy, right? So this week bought, right? It was a bullish week, right? We had a bullish candlestick, right? So what I did was on Tuesday afternoon, what I did was to annotate and analyze this chart and just see what the market can potentially do, right? So what I saw was, okay, we had a bullish trend. So I had my trend line. I had my trend line. Since we had a bullish trend, I had my trend line. Now what I do with this trend line is I only connect I only connect the I don't connect the low that was created on that week that I'm be trading on, right? I connect the lows of the previous week and the previous week, right? So yeah, that's how I go about drawing my trend line, and I don't care whether it touch the bodies or the wicks, but as long as it makes sense to me, right? So this just makes absolute sense. It's in line with this. I'm not connecting this purposefully, right? It's just in line with it, right? So it gives me more a strong conviction that the market is really trending up, right? After this, then I said, okay, Monday went down. So there's also another thing that I do, which I talk about, is trading uh when the market has moved all phases, right? When I'm talking about trading, when the market has moved all phases, I'm talking about if the market is gonna sell on a given day, then choose to buy on a on some days during the same week, right? The market has moved all phases when it has done this, because it did a selling market, now it's doing buying market. Then my entries are gonna be here when we are predicting the new now the new structure to be formed, right? So that's just another thing that I look at, which is very very powerful. But then let's continue with what we were doing. So if this was a buying market, and on Tuesday I'm analyzing this, I've drawn my trend line, I then look at what the market was doing, right? So this is the low, right? This is the low that was not broken, right? This is the low that was not broken. So if you pay attention, if we did not break this low, it means the market structure has not changed, right? It means the market structure is still bullish, right? Nothing has happened here, right? Nothing has happened except the fact that this low has been taken out. Now the market has not opened any doors to the downside, right? It's just LTO low has been taken out, right? So it's only this low that has been taken out, nothing else. The price is still bullish, very much bullish, right? After this, I then said okay, then what the market did also was take out this, right? This high. So this is a peak, right? So after taking this peak, now the doors have opened, right? The doors have opened to the upside, right? The doors have opened to the upside, right? So this peak has been removed, meaning now the doors to the upside has been open, right? Right about this candle, we took out this high, right? This peak. So I then drew my trend line. This is now an entry trend line, right? This is an entry trend line. If I want to buy, I need to have this trend line broken, then tested again, right? Even if it doesn't touch it, but as long as it's break and retest, right? Then I'll also pay attention to the candlesticks formation, right? So now the peak has been taken out, the market structure did not change. Look at the confluence. The previous week was buying, right? So you can see that we are on a bullish market, very very strong, right? So what I did was on this day, because I usually wake up around 6 just to look at the market where it's at. So on this day around about this time, I saw that the market created um, some sort of a turning um, candlestick pattern. Right now the candle were going down, now we have this candlestick signaling that now we can potentially go up. Now here's the thing, I'll also mark my potential support, right? My potential support, right? This is my potential support, right? So if we break this, this is a retest of this area, right? So I then said to myself, okay, then now this market is very very much ready to go up. But then what I would love to see is for this high to be taken out, right? While this high is being taken out, I have what I call uh, magnetic magnetic high, right? I have what I call magnetic high, guys, right? So everything I'm just writing it now because this is my girlfriend's laptop, so I'm just using her laptop to record this video. So if you can pay attention, I don't know if this is clear. this. Let's do it like this, just so you will see that this high was taken out, this peak. This is the peak that was taken out, right? Just want to make that more clear. So now if we are bouncing off this resistance turn into support, there's a high chance that we are going up, right? But then I said to myself, okay, but I would love to see this high taken out to confirm that on this day that I'm on, the market is ready to buy, right? I then took this buy like this, place my pen, my stop order at this point, had my stop loss below this low, because if the market were to go against me, it has to break this, maybe it's gonna buy from this area, right? I then said, okay, let me place my TP. This is a magnetic high, right? This should be my first target, right? But then I don't take profits at a 1 is to 1 comma something RR, right? I wait for at least 1 is to 2, 1 is to 2,5, 1 is to 3 RR, right? So now with this mindset, I'm also looking at the market and thinking maybe the markets can potentially go as high as this point. Let me show you guys this point, right? This is where the whole move started to go down, right? It can go as high as this point, but then we had the issue of this area right here, right? We had the issue of this area. Yes, it was the beginning. Look how clean we broke this low, right? With this bullish candle, I was like, no man, I won't target this high. Let me just get a 1 is to 3, then I'll be out. Then what I did was exactly that. Now look at how far the market went. Let's see. This was on the same day, right? 1 is to 3, caught my uh, desired RR, then I was out because I saw that the market can potentially turn from this point, right? You saw we went on a H4, we saw this area because we were playing just around this area. If you look at H4, this was just a bullish market. This is called trend trading on H4, right? It's a bullish market. So I took this entry, caught a 1 is to 3, then I was out, right? Then I was out. Just to show that this is something I do on a day-to-day basis, let me look for another example which can be similar to this, right? So if you look at this week, the market is in a way it's consolidating, but if this one was buying, then this one consolidated, there's a high chance for this to also buy. So today I was looking for the market to come around this point, then I'll take a buy, but it hasn't um, it did not retrace as much, so I won't do anything, right? So let me look for another thing, but I hope this breakdown was very clear and very useful, right? So let me look at the previous week. Let me look at them. Remember, you guys have to place these lines. These lines will help you massively in your own trading, right? Will help you massively in your own trading. Now let's look at this week. This week was selling, right? Not a big sell, but it was selling, right? So if I were to look for a sell on this week, what I'll do is I'll look for, first, remember, I need to have the market to move in all phases. First sell, then buy, right? Vice versa if I'm planning to sell, because here I'm planning to buy, but if I'm planning to sell, then it has to first go up, then come back down, right? So on this week, I remember I took an entry on Friday here, right? Let's talk about that entry, right? So if we had this week, it was selling, right, but not a clear sell, right? Then the market on Monday and Tuesday was just not as clear, right? Because it's consolidated on Monday, then consolidated on Tuesday. We are just in a consolidating market, right? But then what I did was to take this buy because I had a buy here, right? I drew my trend line. I think this was the trend line I drew. Yes, this is my trend line. The trend line I drew, right? So if you pay attention, this was a break and retest of a trend line, right? Okay, after I drew my trend line, I then on Wednesday wanted the market to sell, finish selling, then I'll see what it's gonna do, right? But the market on my most important day was not clear, right? If it's like this, to me it's not clear because I don't see whether it's bullish or bearish. I don't see it moving in all phases, right? It's consolidated on Wednesday. But then this was the most interesting thing now. This was a bullish day on Thursday, right? Now if we have a bullish day on Thursday, obviously if you pay attention to the market, if you were selling on the previous day, chances are the following day is gonna sell, right? That's usually how the market moves, right? Not always, but usually, right? So when I saw that this day was buying, I then incorporated what I do, which is to say, okay, if I were to buy here, where would I buy, right? I then did something like this, since the market now has moved all phases because it's consolidated, went a bit down, now it went up. I have to look for buys, right? Then I drew this point. This is my point of interest. If you pay attention, I can extend it like this, right? If I extend it like this, you can see that we were playing around this area here, around this area here, around this area. Then here it's the same thing, it's the same area, it's the same area. Then I had my point of interest, right? I'm looking to buy the market. I want to go long, right? I then said to myself, okay, since this day was bullish, I have to go long. Then I had to add another trend line, right? I had to add another trend line. Then I drew this one. I said, okay, we are in a buying market on H1, right? This is a long time frame. We had a break and retest on H4, right? I was like, oh, okay, I think I see where we are going, right? I see where we are going. This is a break and retest, right? If you pay attention, we broke this high with this, right? We broke this high, so I was like, okay, we are ready to go up, right? So what I did was I then said, okay, let's see what the market is doing, right? Let's see what the market is doing. This high was taken out. I can just draw this one. It's the same thing. Draw this. This high was taken out. Let me just remove this trend line because it becomes more dirty. Then I said, okay, if we took out this high, we took out this peak, right? If we took out this high, we took out this um, peak, removed. If we took out this high, then we took out this peak, right? So now this is a H4 high, right? This is a H1 peak taken out. It means those to the upside have been open, right? I was ready for the market, right? We also took out this high, right? Meaning the market is just giving us some strong confirmation that it's in a buying market, right? Then what happened was it then came back down. Now I was worried when I saw this candlestick still playing out, breaking this low, right? Because now it means a potential market structure is inbound, right? But then I waited. I saw that it rejected massively. Not just a rejection, then it became a bearish candle, but it also changed the color to a bullish candlestick, right? I was like, damn, we are ready to buy here, right? This was our magnetic high, right? Let me just take this one. This was our magnetic high, right? Let me just copy this. Let me just do this, right? This was our magnetic magnetic high. It means the market is gonna be drawn to this point, right? I waited, then the market did this. I was not gonna take this because it was gonna mess up with my risk to reward, right? I see it a rejection. It means buyers um has stepped in, right? Buyers are here um to buy the market to push the prices high, right? But I then said to myself, no, let me not rush things, right? On a 15 minutes, I had this trend line drawn, right? Still makes sense here, but I drew it on a 15 minute. Then I said, okay. Now, if you can see, this is a small pattern that has already been formed on an 8-4 also. We had a trend line, then it's like we are on a triangle pattern, right? This is a small triangle pattern. I'm ready to buy because if we break above, it means we are ready to go to the top, right? So I was looking at this, then I saw this. I was worried when this candle was here because I was not gonna take it when it closed around this area, but then it rejected. I said, you know what, let's go up, let's take this price up, right? Now my stop loss has to be below this. I'm not considering this week because it's too big. I don't think price can still go below this, right? I then had my TP at a 1:3. Same day also, right? Same thing, right? It's the same thing over and over again, right? So I took this buy and the market just went up, right? When I saw this bearish candle, I was kind of moved a bit, but I said, you know what, we have to take out this high. If we fail to take out this high, I have to see some sort of consolidation here, right? But the market just went up. My TP was rich, and that was it, guys, right? So what I want to share is each and every day the market is communicating with us as traders with something, right, on its own perspective, right? So what's important is to avail yourself and do what you've been testing, what you've been training yourself for, right, and execute these trades, right? I know this can be hard when you're still beginning, but it's pretty simple as time goes on. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I know that I can take those buys, right, like this. If you can pay attention, this is a similar thing, right? It's almost the same thing, right? Because we had this trend line, we had this trend line, we had the support, we had the support. We have to take out this high, we have to take out this high. The trend line is buying, the trend line I drew here was also buying. So you can see that everything we had was telling us that we have to buy, right? So each and every time, if you come with that approach, chances are you'll make it, right? For now, I'm still not perfect, right? There's a lot of mistakes that I'm making. Plus, I'm still new to this thing of being profitable. So sometimes you make mistake and lose the profits that you made, right? That's just how it is, right? Until I eliminate all these trading errors, jumping the gun, fear of closing too early, losing profits that you are making, right? Fear of being wrong, right? Once I eliminate all of that, right, and eliminate this big thing that has just, I think it's engulfed my mentality, right? This thing of wanting to be right, right, most of the time, right? If I'm not right, if the setup does not go my way, it means I don't know what I'm doing, right? Once I eliminate that, trust me, I'm telling you, we are off to the moon, right? So guys, yeah, I hope this was insightful. Beauty of the beast, beauty of the beast, guys. This is a beast and there's beauty in it. So see you on the next one, guys. Peace.